Very good morning to everybody. I am Healer Prasanna.
I'm healer Archana Manikvasagam.
So the session is about to start. Thanks for the patient. We delayed by 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you for being patient with us. So Archana will start the session now, and I'll join in after a few moments. Thank you.
Okay. So today's session is going to be very elementary. What we have attempted to do is talk about the basics so parents can pick it up and children can also comprehend and understand. Now what have I written here?
It's written, body is the supreme doctor.
Okay. So we'll find out if this is true or false. Okay. So whatever we are going to be talking today is the founding fundamental principle that governs both acupuncture and nature cure. A lot of alternate medicine will talk about how the body is the ultimate power that heals everything. We'll see how. Now, one of the most important things for all of us is being healthy, right? Everybody wants to be healthy. Now, we are prepared to spend any amount of wealth for our health. Agreed? Yes? Okay. So, do we really need to spend a lot of money, effort on being healthy? We'll find out. Now, I had breakfast at 9 o'clock. I had a couple of dosas with some chutney. Now, if I was asked to eat again at 10 o'clock, again you give me 3 dosas with some chutney, will I want to eat it or will I not want it? I won't want it. Okay. Let's say we wait another couple of hours, let's say by 12 or 1 again. If you probably offer me some food, what will happen? Will I want to eat it? Probably yes. So what was missing at 10 o'clock that was there at 1 o'clock? Anybody? What was missing? At 10 o'clock you had energy because you had eaten. So hunger was missing at 10 o'clock. We have to make this interactive. Only if you all answer, I'll know you're getting it. Can you all move here so I can see you all better? Ma'am, you can also come forward. So at 10 o'clock, there was no hunger, and at 1 o'clock, there was hunger. So when you eat food, what happens? It gets converted into energy. And then that energy the body uses through the day. And then the next time, when does the body ask for food? When there's no energy. So what is the signal that the body gives to signify that there's no energy? Hungry, hunger. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Okay, hunger is one of the body's signals. Any other signals that the body gives? When you want water, what signal does the body give? Thirst. Okay, very good. Okay, all the kids are answering. I think the parents have to catch up. Okay, thirst. Now if we are tired, so what will the body ask for? Rest or sleep? Okay, in all this, what do we understand? We understand that the body knows to ask. The body knows to ask for what it wants when it wants. Correct? So, this is the first point. Okay, so the body knows to ask for what it wants when it wants. If you give the body what it wants when it wants, the body is healthy. If you don't give it when it wants, the body is diseased, unhealthy. Okay? Okay. Now, who goes for walks in the morning? Walk, running, jogging. Okay. So Karthik here likes to go walking, running in the morning on the streets. Let's say he's going running, and then there are some street workers that are sweeping the street, and as he's entering the street, he finds that it's very dusty and a lot of dust is floating in the air. So as he runs into that street, he takes a big whiff of that and the dust goes into his nostrils. What will happen to Karthik now? What will happen to Karthik's body? Yeah, he will cough, or before that he will sneeze. Sneeze. Why is he sneezing? Yeah, dust is in the air, and when he sneezes, what happens to that dust? When he sneezes, the dust comes out. But why should it come out? Why can't it be inside the body? Why can't the dust be inside the body? Because it's not safe for the body to have that dust inside, so it sneezes and brings it out. Correct? So now when the body sneezes, does it ask for your permission and sneeze, or does it sneeze without checking with your mind or intelligence? Does it do it immediately, or does it wait for you to go home and get comfortable and then sneeze? Immediately, okay. When you sneeze, do you feel comfortable or uncomfortable? You feel uncomfortable. But is it necessary? Is it done for your body's good, or is it coming for your inconvenience? It's coming for your body's good. Though that sneeze is uncomfortable, there are about 5 or 10 sneezes that come incessantly for Karthik. It is coming to help you and not hinder you. So here, which organ does this flushing out or elimination? Lungs. So like this, in the body there are many organs. So every organ has this wisdom within itself that it will only keep what is good for itself. If something is not good for it, it will send it out. Now, the first example we've seen is sneeze, right? Now, okay, let's say your children go for a birthday party and then they eat a lot of cake and everything that's offered, juices and stuff that they don't normally eat. They end up overeating. Okay, so they're playing, like let's say Kabir goes for a birthday party. You don't go. Okay, who likes birthday parties? You like birthday party? What's your name, Kanna? Adirai. Okay, Adirai likes birthday party. She goes to a birthday party. She eats cake, juice, potato chips, and then she eats a lot of other things. And then she's playing. And as she's playing, suddenly she feels uncomfortable. She goes, calls her mom, and runs to the toilet. And then there she throws up. Okay. Now she vomits because the stomach decides that it does not want that. So does the stomach ask for your permission when you throw up? It does not ask for your permission. Okay. Does the stomach discuss with you? It does not discuss. Does it happen immediately? When you have to throw up, it happens immediately. And throwing up, who likes to throw up? Who likes to do vomit? You like to do vomit? Okay. So, nobody likes to do a vomit, throw up. But still, when it happens, is it for your good or is it for your bad? So, should you encourage that or stop it? Encourage that. So, once you vomit, do you feel better? You do. Okay. So, again, like this, if your intestines have some waste in it that it does not want, so what will it do? How will it send the waste out? Your intestines. So it'll do a loose motion or a diarrhea, and then it will send it out. So like this, your body knows how to send out waste specific to each organ if it deems it unhealthy. Okay, let's say I'm running, I fall down, I get a scratch on my hand and I start bleeding. Now my body has several liters of blood, about 5-6 liters of blood, let's say. So when I fall down and I start bleeding, does all the blood come out? All of it? No. A few drops come and then it stops. How does it stop? It stops because the blood clots. Now, do you have to go and tell your body, okay, now clotting has to start, come on clot? No. The body decides to do it with its own intelligence and stops. So, clotting. And then let's say you fall down and break a bone. You go to the doctor does an X-ray and then sets the bone right. Let's say it's broken like this. He puts it together and sets it right. He sets it right so the body can fuse it together. So that X-ray, does it help to bring the bones and grow them together? Or is it helping the doctor to find out if he's done a good job? Sorry? Helping the doctor, okay. So, and the doctor prescribes some anti-inflammatory drugs, prescribes some drugs for the pain, and he might even give you a paracetamol so you don't develop a fever. Now, do any of these drugs help in the bones growing back together? So, who does the growing here? The body does the growing here. Now, in all these cases, we've seen who is doing the healing, who is doing the cleansing? The body. So, do we agree the body is the supreme doctor now? We do, okay. Okay, so when I say body, what governs the body is our life force. So our life force, some of the other names for life force is defense force, life force. Now our life force has two primary roles. I am looking for a duster. Okay, never mind. Okay, your life force does two primary things, okay? Assimilation and, thank you, elimination. Okay, so when we are hungry, we eat food. When we are thirsty, we drink water. When we need rest, we sleep. And another important thing that the body needs to function. Can anyone tell me? Food, water, air. Air. Can anybody function without air? So all these things, food, water, air, all this the body takes in and digests it, makes it into energy. So, and will that be all, or will there be some waste at the end of digestion? When you're breathing, you breathe out carbon dioxide. And then, like how when we cook in the kitchen, all the ladies, if you make a sambar or anything, there is some waste at the end of the cooking process that has to leave the kitchen. And then you put food on the table like that. There will be some byproduct which has to be eliminated from the body. So these byproducts are our stools, urine, waste can come out, yes, sweat. Waste can come out as sweat also, and then the air we breathe out. So all these are the byproducts. Now this assimilation is the process of all this being converted into energy, and then elimination is this byproduct leaving the body. Now this byproduct, when it leaves the body on a daily basis, it happens. Does it stop? Can it stop? It shouldn't stop. So if this happens effectively, then these are the normally occurring waste. What happens sometimes when we don't take care of body properly? There are more wastes that get accumulated. Waste has to be eliminated. Without getting eliminated, if they get accumulated, then that causes illness. So how can this elimination happen? So we have accumulated waste okay, I'm going to show you a small experiment. Let's say we have a 2-month-old baby, okay? A 2-month-old baby, and this is the baby's lungs, okay? The lungs, air goes in, comes out, but in the normal process, the baby has some accumulated phlegm. What is the waste in the body? Phlegm, right? Sorry, lungs. So, let's say a 2-month-old baby has about 10 to 20 drops of phlegm in its lungs. This is its lungs, okay? So if there is phlegm in a 2-month-old baby's body, one of the first things the body will do is bring it out as a sneeze. So the child is sneezing, very tiny baby, sneezing for about 5 times, 6 times. The parents feel very bad. They can't see the baby go through all those sneezes. So what do the parents do? How do they help? They take the child to the doctor. So what the doctor does, they say the child is sneezing. What shall we do? The doctor says, okay, I'll give you a syrup. Give the syrup. The sneeze will stop. So when the sneeze stops, what happens to this? Stays inside, okay? So they come, give the baby the drops, the sneeze stops, everybody is happy, the child goes on. Then after about another month, now the baby is 3 months old. In the last 1 month, there is some more accumulation. So, there is some more accumulation in the lungs of the 3-month-old baby now. Now, the life force used its energy and created sneeze. And then we suppressed that. This time what the baby's life force will do is, it'll probably bring it out as a running nose. Tanni madri olugudu we say, no? So as a running nose. So again when the running nose comes, the parents again remember the doctor who stopped the sneeze. So they take the child again to that doctor. The doctor gives a little more heavier dose to stop the running nose. So they take the dose and come, they give the baby the running nose, the heavier dose to stop the running nose. What happens? The running nose? What happens to the phlegm in the lungs? Accumulates. Now our baby is 5 months old. Okay? The old waste is there, some new waste has accumulated in the lungs. This time the life force has to really fight. So it comes up with thick phlegm, a full-blown cold, and along with that a mild temperature. Okay? So now we go to the doctor and say, last time and all, it got better quickly. There was no temperature. This time there is also some temperature. So along with that medicine, the doctor also gives a paracetamol to bring down the temperature. Now paracetamol will take care of the temperature, the cough syrup or the cold medicine will take care of the cold, and what will happen to this? It will stay in the lungs. Now the baby is 8 months old. Again the baby falls sick because there is more build up. This time the child does not sleep the whole night, there is burning fever and all the other things along with that. Now the doctor says, I'll also give a sleeping dose along with the paracetamol and some antibiotics also there because there might be some infection. So we bring that, we want good for our baby, we give all that and the baby is fine. Now the baby is almost 1 year and there is old waste, new waste accumulated. So all this is there. The consistency of the phlegm, will it be thin and liquidy or will it be hard and tough? It will become hard and tough. It will cover the entire lungs and the child will have wheezing. So when you take the child to the doctor again at 1 year and say the child has developed wheezing, they'll probably take the child and admit the child overnight, and they could even resort to putting a tube inside and removing the phlegm and all that. Now when the child was 2 months old, we remember, right? Why did the parents take the child to the doctor? Because the child was sneezing non-stop, 5-6 sneezes, and the parents felt very sad, no? Because they couldn't see the child sneezing and they thought it will be uncomfortable. Now when a tube goes through the baby's nose and into the lungs to clear the phlegm, will it hurt the child? It will hurt the child. So every time when the accumulation happened, the body is trying to remove it, and then we are not supporting it, but we are hindering it. Do we understand this? Can we move on? Okay. This is for a sneeze. Now the same thing happens in different parts of the body. If you develop a stomach bug and then you do incessant vomiting, so what would you ideally do? You will take the child to the doctor, and then the doctor will give a medicine for vomiting. So they'll say, take this medicine and then give the food. But when the vomit comes out, it is for our good, we saw, right? Okay. So now we say infection, right? Infection, germs. Now there is accumulated waste. Now we'll see a small story, okay? Now, who likes baking? Baking, making cookies and cupcakes and all that. Oh, your mother likes, okay. Okay, say Nikita likes baking and she's put all the ingredients out, and when she's just about to start, she spills some sugar on a clean floor. Now the sugar is all over the floor. Now what will happen? What will it attract? The sugar. It will attract ants. Okay. So the floor has some sugar spilled on it, which will attract ants. So these ants, they'll come and feed on the sugar. They'll keep eating, and then when they start eating, they'll bring more sugar in, more ants in. So all these ants come and eat. How long will there be ants on the floor? Full day, okay. When will the ants go back? After they finish eating all the sugar. When there's no more sugar on the floor, the ants leave. Okay, now I'm going to draw a parallel. The floor is the human body. The sugar is the waste in the body. What will the ants be? What do you think the ants are? If I have to draw a parallel. The ants are the germs in the body. Okay. So germs come, infection, virus, bacterial infection, this virus, that virus, you name it, anything. Anything comes into the body only when there is accumulated toxic waste. So when there is no waste, it will not attract the germs. So when will the germs and infection leave? When all the waste leaves the body. So these ants come to help us clean up the floor or to hinder us. Ants are doing us a favor or no? So are the germs doing us a favor or no? Okay, some of you all are saying no. So there is waste in the human body. Like let's say your lung infection itself. Lung infection, you develop fever, there's phlegm, and then you get an infection. They call it a flu, some viral flu. So the virus is inside your body only for as long as the phlegm is there. They come, why do they stay in your body? Because they feed on the phlegm. So the virus feeds on the phlegm, multiplies, grows, keeps feeding, and when it has consumed all the phlegm in your lungs, then the virus has nothing to eat, it perishes. The same as the ant and sugar example that we saw. So these viruses that come into your body, they come because the waste is there. It's not the other way around like we all understand. I went next to a sick child, that child was sick. So I did a few sneezes, he did a few sneezes, his germs came to me, and then I fell sick. You cannot fall sick if there is no toxic waste in your body. That is the reason why 10 children are playing, 2 children fall sick, the others are fine. So when there's accumulated toxins, germs come in. They feed on it, they thrive, and then when they've fed on all the toxins, they leave. So now, if we revisit this, germs are here to help us, or germs are something that we have to be afraid of. Is everybody following what I'm saying? Okay. So germs are coming to help us. This might be a very new idea. This might be against everything that we have been taught and what we've believed so far. But all viruses, all bacteria, they are there for a reason. They're not the enemies. In fact, they're friends. Okay? So that's all. I will pass the stage over to Presna now.
Okay, very good morning. Okay, very good morning yet. Okay, everybody good morning. Now, thanks to Archana, she gave an insight about a lot of things. Now, I'm going to touch upon on 8 topics which can directly affect kids' immune system. And I'll also tell you how to improve the immune system by just implementing this in your real life. Now, first, I'll touch upon sleep. Now, okay. I don't know if all of you are carrying a pen and paper. Okay, you're all carrying a phone. I want all of you will have a lot of question marks before you came here. You will have a lot of questions about your children or yourself. So write this question down in your phone now. And towards the end of the session, if you don't have answers for that, you can ask us, we'll clarify that. It could be anything. It could be about a flu, cold, child not eating right, child not sleeping right, my child is not having fruits, my child is not having vegetables. For all this, we will give you answers. You will have the answers before you leave this place. And the live audience also will have the answers, hopefully. Okay? So, coming back to sleep. Now, how many of you have workers at home who sweep and clean your floor? Just put your hands up. Okay, the rest all do it yourself, is it? Wonderful. Okay. Okay, very nice. Okay, now, we all have someone who sweeps and cleans our house, or we do it ourselves. So we use a broomstick, we use water, we use mop, we use sweeper, whatever. Now, if a house has to be clean, a street has to be clean, a factory has to be clean, a car has to be clean, a bike has to be clean, I think our body should also be clean. Now, who does the cleaning? Water? Okay, water does the cleaning. Any other answers? Who does the cleaning inside? Fasting cleans. Okay, fasting also cleans, correct? But there is something that cleans it from inside. Like sweepers and, someone is inside. Does anyone know what it is? Intestine, no. Cells, no. Cells will push out toxins, but it will not clean. Sorry? Sleep, partially right. Okay, I'll come back to the answer. The answer is 2 important organs. It's called liver and gallbladder. Okay? Now, I'm going to drag Kabir into this. Come here. Now, if you see Kabir, he's got beautiful eyes. Okay? Now, these eyes are the external organ of his liver, which is inside. So, whenever liver gets affected, you can see it in the eyes. That is why people who don't sleep, liver gets affected, it doesn't do its cleaning, so it's red in color. Over consumption of alcohol, men have red eyes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so coming back to liver and gallbladder, now the question is, these 2 organs are there to clean it from inside. But what should we do? Should we buy soap, phenol, broomstick? Nothing is required. All we have to do is let it do the work. Now, how do we let it do the work is, both for children and for adult, there is a stipulated time for these organs to do the work, which is 11 to 3, according to the organ clock. Every organ has a timing. Your kidney has a time, your stomach has a time, your gallbladder has a time, lungs has a time, heart has a time. So these two organs, for it to do the cleansing, it should be in a, you should be in a sleeping state. If you are in a deep sleep, these organs will wake up and start doing the cleaning. But if you are binge watching a serial, eating popcorn, it will not work. So it's simple. So if it's kids, ideal bedtime is 8:30 to 9. So by 9, if they hit the bed, they go off to sleep, and the deep sleep happens after 1 hour ideally. So after 1 hour, the deep sleep kicks in, and your liver and gallbladder starts performing its duty. And the second most important thing to do is, you should have consumed your food 3 hours before your dinner. So it is got digested from your stomach, and it gets passed on to the small intestine, from where it gets absorbed into the body. So if you do this, your sleep gets regulated, your gallbladder and liver will constantly keep flushing the toxin. Now, what do I mean by flushing the toxin? The air we breathe has a little bit of toxin. The food we eat has a little bit of toxin. The water we drink can have toxin. The people we meet can also bring in toxin. That's a different topic. Emotionally, you can get affected, which will reflect on your lifestyle, which can affect the organ. So when you're allowed to finish it off the dinner and get to bed before 9, for 8:30, 9 for kids, and adult latest is 10 p.m., it'll beautifully start flushing out. Any virus, any bacteria, any deadly virus coming to India will not harm you. This one trick will actually save you from a lot of trouble. Okay, we'll jump to the next point. Allow me to take a bit from this. I've just made a note. Okay, next I'm going to talk about emotions affecting health. Sorry? Okay, makes sense. Okay, now how can emotions affect health, and how it can affect your immunity is what I'm going to talk about. Now, coming to emotion, I need a volunteer. Can someone raise the hand? I won't call you here. Anybody? A brave soul. I won't call you. Okay, Nikita. Okay? We all know Nikita's a very hardworking entrepreneur who's inspiring all of us every day. Clap. Okay. So now, Nikita is really busy with work. She had a real long day at her school, and she had a lot of interviews from NDTV. She's finished all that, and then she's getting back home at 3 o'clock, and she's really hungry, really starving, and there's food on the table, and she's about to go sit. Suddenly, she gets a call. That morning, she was informed that she's won a 10 crore lottery. So she's very happy also. So 3 o'clock, she's going to eat. Suddenly, the call comes and they say, sorry, madam, your number is wrong, 10 crores you're not getting. Will she be happy or sad? Sad. Now, when she is sad, will she feel like eating? So when a sudden, sad, depressing news come to us, we don't feel like eating. So your stomach is directly reflecting an emotion called sad. Now, when she becomes sad, she can't eat. Okay? So, let's hope you get the 10 crore. So, when you're sad, you should not eat, for the simple reason the gastric juice will not secrete in your stomach, and your salivary gland will not digest the food you chew. So when this happens, your food that when you eat, when you're not hungry, the food that goes in does not give you healthy nutrients. Now, second is fear. Now, kids have this tendency of urinating when they are scared. So when you're scared, your kidney and kidney and urinary bladder gets affected. So fear can affect organs. So if you're someone who's constantly scared, in a long run, these organs can get affected. So if your kids are, don't threaten the kids ever. That is what I'm trying to get to. So if you're threatening this, Pooch will come eat. So basically you're scaring the kid, making the kidney weak, and fulfilling your satisfaction of feeding the kid. Now that's not going to help the kid. Okay? So fear is the second emotion. And the third is sorrow. Sorrow will affect your lungs. That's why when you're sorrow, you can't breathe, you do that. So sorrow is what? Sorrow is, how do I translate sorrow? Can someone help me? What is sorrow? No. Dukkam. In Tamil, it's called dukkam. Sorrow is condensed sadness. Okay. Dukkam. So, deep sorrow is like a deeper emotion of being sad. So that affects your lungs and your large intestine. Okay? And pride and jealousy. When I think that Nandu's jeans is really good, I didn't get that size when I went to the store, I'm going to really get jealous of his jeans. It is not going to affect him, it will only affect me. It will affect my heart and my small intestine. So all these organs have an emotion. So when patients come to us, when we check their pulse, we know which emotion is weak in them. And based on that, we know which organ needs attention. So any emotion which is constantly disturbing you, we should figure a way to correct it. So we should not install fear or try to give the sad story to the kids before they eat, or give them anything depressing. So this will affect their immune system in a long run. So the next one is emotions. Okay. The next topic I'm going to talk about is the myth about junk food. Is junk food good or bad? Okay, bad. Junk food is bad? Okay. Freshly made Mysore pak with pure ghee, pure basin flour, freshly bought it from the store and made then and there and kept aside. Is it good or bad? It's good? Okay. This is A. B is a Mysore pak in a glass jar which was made with basin and sugar, which is costing 1 rupee, which is made with oil, and it's been lying in a jar which has little fungus in a petty shop. Is that good or this good? A is good or B is good? A is good. Okay? Now, we'll take two cases. What's your name? Ryan. Okay. Now, Ryan is listening. I just wanted to make sure. Okay. There is a boy named A. There's a boy named B. A is having the Mysore pak which is freshly made. B is having the Mysore pak from this jar which has fungus. Now, who will fall sick? B will fall sick? Raise hands for B. Okay, raise hands for A. Others are sleeping. A or B? B, come on. Otherwise, I'll make all of you stand up. B, okay, A. Okay, I think they're still sleeping. Can I get some water, Nikita? I want to sprinkle some water on everybody. Here is it. Oh, that's lungs. Okay, now B will not fall sick, A will fall sick. I'll tell you how. B is a Mysore pak which is almost like brick. You will not be able to gobble it easily. You have to really scrape it in your tooth. It will take half an hour to eat it. Okay. In the case of A, this Mysore pak, when you put it in your mouth, it will just melt. Or Krishna sweets, Mysore pak types. Now, when food is chewed, relished in your mouth, and then passed on to your stomach, it is good for you. I'm not saying fungus Mysore pak is healthy. Don't go eat tomorrow. Okay? All I'm trying to tell you is, something which is chewed and relished when you're hungry will do you a lot of good. Whereas a healthy food, organic food, freshly made, but not chewed and relished in your mouth and just goes in straight, will not get digested right. So, fast food by itself is not bad for your kids. So if you go for a function or a party, don't give them the guilt that don't eat fast food, don't eat this. Occasionally, if they eat when they are hungry, it will not harm them. So that's all I'm trying to tell you. But yes, try to stick to freshly homemade cooked food always. Okay, next is force feeding. Can anyone tell me what is force feeding a child? I think nobody knows about force feeding here. Everybody knows. They torture, sometimes. I know. Many times? Many times, okay. Okay, now force feeding is one, and threatening and feeding. I think I spoke about it already. Ghost will come eat, ghost will come sleep. You know? So force feeding, again, if you can remember this Mysore Pak example, keep it in mind. I know sometimes kids don't eat for an extended day or two, but that could be a different concern. It can be clinically corrected very easily. But force feeding, again, you're forcing your child to take something into the stomach like a car getting a petrol. Our body does not work that way. We are not filling a tank here. We are giving nutrients which should be processed in the mouth. 75% is processed in the mouth when you chew. 25% is processed in your stomach during the digestion. So by force feeding, you feel mental satisfaction. I have forced 1 glass of milk into my child's mouth. My child will be happy in the school. I've given a dosa, anything on those lines. But when the child is not chewing it and relishing it and eating it heartfully, it will not do the child much good. So avoid force feeding. That's my recommendation. And if they don't eat, bring them to us. We will correct it. With natural healing, definitely. And we get a lot of times when a lot of our patients who come to our clinic talk about kids not eating fruits. I try really hard. The moment they find out I put broccoli in somewhere, they find out, pick it up and keep it aside. Sorry? Oh, you love broccoli. You're a lucky boy. So that happens. Now, one of the easiest way to get your kids to start eating fruits is create a culture in your house where you place fruits of their liking around the house. In the kids' room, in the dining table, next to the TV. So kids, it's subconsciously, if you have a bowl of grapes kept in some corner, when they're walking past, they'll pluck it and eat it. If they like orange during the season, open the orange and keep it where they are. So you will naturally inculcate the habit of eating fruits, and without even realizing, they'll start eating it. And the good thing is kids will never binge eat. Most of the kids don't. Only adults eat. So they will only eat when they have a need for the fruit. So if it's lying in the house and they're there in the house for 6-7 hours, eventually you'll see they'll pluck and start eating it. So that is one of the easiest way to get kids to start consuming fruits. Next is, I'm going to talk a little about oil bath. This again is a beautiful way of improving the immune in your kids' health and the adults' health as well. So oil bath is ideally done by applying oil from your head to toe and exposing yourself to the morning sun, preferably before 8 a.m. Now, one of the benefits of oil bath is it will improve kids' bone density, hair condition, immune gets better, elimination in the body happens, large intestine gets cleansed, your appetite improves, and sleep also really improves. And all those accumulated toxins sitting in little corners of the body, over a period of time, if a child is given oil bath, say once a week, in a span of 3 to 6 months, it will start eliminating, for example, toxin in the lungs or heart or liver. So it has like how plants require sunlight, human also requires sunlight. So when you let sunlight pass through your system with oil applied on the body, with or without oil, it's fine if you don't really enjoy oil. So it will start slowly eliminating. In a long run, you will largely benefit. That's why if you see people who constantly do oil bath, they actually don't get gray hair. So I give you a little tip for the parents also, and it also a little anti-aging. You will age a little slower. So when you go for your batch reunions, parents, you will look little younger than your classmates. But don't tell me that I did today and tomorrow I want to be that way. It will take few months. Lastly, I'm going to talk about bowel movement. When it comes to kids, there are a lot of myth around it saying that you should do it in the morning, you should do it when you feel like. See, when it comes to bowel movement, like how I said, every organ has timing. 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. is the ideal time for large intestine, that is when it performs to its best. So in most of the times, elimination happens during the time. But with few kids, it doesn't happen that way. Some have the habit of passing stool only in the evening. Some have the habit of doing it only when they get back home. Their body will automatically, make it happen at that time. So it's all right. Do not force your kids to do it before they leave for the school. It's not necessary. And it's absolutely all right to use school toilets. Some patients, some of the parents that we meet, they tell the kids not to use the school toilet because it could create, it will give them infection. It's all right. So if you follow a holistic way of living life, any toilet bacteria or virus will not harm our children. The body will beautifully eliminate anything, so it's all right, because holding the stool is more dangerous than using the school public toilet. So I'm done with all the topics I have to speak. Now, if anybody has questions, we are happy to answer. And if you came with some question which was not answered also, you can ask us. Yeah, sure. Okay, we have one more point.
See, I missed out on a point when I was talking about this. You remember how we stopped with the lungs and then it gave you a wheeze and all that. And then along with the wheezing, there is a fever, right? What is our ideal body temperature? So 98.5 Fahrenheit is the ideal body temperature. Now, when your life force is working to its full efficiency and then there is no forced elimination, it works at 98.4. But when there is a lot of accumulated toxins, like in this case, what happens is the body brings the temperature up and then we treat it with paracetamol. But when this temperature is up and then it goes to, like, let's say 102, 103, 104 or whatever the thermometer says, if it goes up to that, now the child's lungs, they let a tube in and try to pull out all the phlegm, but then no artificial external device will be able to fully flush out the toxins. Now, this will bring about a fever sometime in the next few months, or it will definitely bring out a fever. And then that fever can become 102, 103. Now what happens is the life force expends a lot more energy than it would do on a regular basis. And then that's when all the work that the body does, it stops. It is not able to digest, it's not able to walk, it's not able to talk. So every bit of energy that the body has is going towards eliminating the accumulated toxins in your lungs in this specific case. So when you see 1 or 2, if you can support that and rest and don't eat and then watch the temperature drop. From 1 or 2, you will see it comes down to about 100. And even when it comes down to 100, you don't do anything about it and then sustain the temperature. What happens is slowly the body eliminates this. So it could be through cold, it could be through sweat, it could be through fecal matter, it could come into your stomach, it could go through the intestines. Somehow the body eliminates this. So you know the body is eliminating this and there's no accumulated toxins if the temperature comes down on its own. So it can take 2 days, 3 days without eating, resting. So if I tell you, you do this to your child, children's health is a very sensitive matter, right? So I wouldn't want to risk it on my child. So the next time all of you have a fever, just leave it. Observe what is happening. Let the fever be in you for some time and see what is happening, and whether you take a paracetamol or no, invariably it goes down in about 2 or 3 days. When you do this a few times to yourself, you get the confidence and then you can try it on your children. And you know that nothing is going to happen. So this is how we will treat fever. So if you have any concerns, like this is the primary problem with my child, this is one health concern. So when I saw this flyer, I wanted to come and get an answer for this. So if there's any concern like that that you think the presentation today did not address, we'll be happy to take questions. So if there are any questions online also, we can take them. Mr. Shankar can check and tell us.
You can just read it out loud, Shankar, so we'll answer that question.
Okay, this is actually a very personal journey for me. When I had very young children, I didn't want the children to unnecessarily take a lot of drugs. I stumbled upon acupuncture. And I would say that is one of the greatest blessings of my life. I came into it and I understood how the body can heal itself. And so it's very close to my heart, this topic. So any questions anybody has?
Yeah. Yes.
When you go to the doctor, you get a medicine, you drink it or whatever you do.
It's okay, sit and talk. It will pick up now, yeah.
But after
Yeah, I've turned it off.
some time you will feel lot better. So why are you saying that we should make ourselves don't go to the doctor much?
Can anyone answer this question? It's a brilliant question. So his question is, I'll rephrase it. We go to a doctor, they give us medicine. After having the medicine, I feel good. So why are you telling me not to take medicine? Why are you telling me not to go to doctor is his question. Can anyone answer this question?
Kabir will answer. Come, Kabir. So if Kabir gets this right, our job is done.
So when we take medicine, it's not good. Like little will be left that of the medicine's chemicals. So that might be left in the body. That's not good for our body.
Okay. And also, if you don't take medicine, then what happens?
If we don't take medicine, like you explained, that the body is a doctor, that will heal it by itself.
Okay. So whether you take or don't take,
It'll heal.
thank you, Kabir. Did Kabir answer your question, Ryan? Okay.
I'll add to that. Now, medicine by itself sometimes may not heal us. Some medicine, most of the medicine treats the symptom, but not the root cause. So if you treat the root cause, you get healed. So anything which treats the root cause is healthy for you. So in natural way of healing or any traditional medicine, the treatment is done to the root of the problem, not to the symptom. That is the difference. So the medicine will give temporary relief by pushing the root cause deep inside, which will occur after a few months, and we don't even realize this is what we had before 3 months and it's come out in a different form. So that's the answer.
Okay, if you don't have any questions, what we can do now is there are a few people here who don't resort to drugs as soon as they fall sick. No. Some people who are...
Shankar has some questions, online questions. She has a question. Huh? Please, you can ask from there. Sit down.
No, let him do that. Can you come here, ma'am, so everybody will be able to hear?
She's handling a child.
Yeah. So we say like particular fruits you take, particular fruits you shouldn't take. So a commonly known fact is banana should not be given to children when, that is the fact that I know. Banana should not be given to children when they have cold. So how do we classify it? When it's cold, this fruits can be given, this should not be. Cough, this should be given, this should not be given. Fever, which ones to take, which ones to not take.
Okay, so any illness, the body is trying to eliminate, that we saw. There's ways the body is trying to eliminate. The number one thing you do is don't give anything to the body. If you see a child who has fever, will not want to eat anything. We will want to give the child something because there will be a medication that has to follow, so you'll give a kanji. Or the child hasn't eaten anything for 8 hours, you'll say just take a slice of bread. But the child does not want it. More than the food that we give the children, the rest is what the children need. So we are only hindering the healing process by giving digestion work to the body. That is point number one. But in case a child asks for something to eat, Even if the child asks for a banana, when the child has fever or a bad cold, the child in most cases will not finish the banana. It'll take a bite or two and then leave the banana. Waste pannada saaptu mudi is something we shouldn't say. Okay? So because we should understand that that time the banana is not helping, it's hindering. That is the point. No, if they ask for it, you can very well give it, but the child will not finish it. If the child does not finish it, don't force the child to eat, that's all. Anything they want is fine, but they will mostly not finish it, and it's okay.
I think she's nervous.
So, when it comes to their lunch plate, is it okay to give them fruit along with their lunch, or something that their favorite one? Is it okay to give with a lunch, or is it always better to not mix up food and fruits?
See, there are different schools of thought. I wouldn't say one is right, one is wrong. So, as long as you relish what you're eating and enjoy what you're eating, chew properly, and then swallow, everything is good. What we recommend that Prasanna has a different principle, I have a different one that I follow. You start a meal with the fruit. The fruit goes, energizes your spleen and stomach, and then you follow up with cooked food. You end up eating less cooked food, you eat more natural food. That is something that you can do. Or if you want a lot of fruit intake for your child, of the 3 meals, make 1 meal just a fruit meal. That is one of the best things that you can do for healthy eating. And then 2 meals of cooked food. There's several ways to do, there's no one right way.
I think it's perfect. Yeah.
There's a concept called deworming, right? Can you give some ideas about what is deworming?
See, deworming with drugs is something that allopathy does. But deworming in nature cure is a regular practice. We have kadukai. Kadukai is something that you take to cleanse your bowels. There are so many things that you can do to cleanse your bowels. Periodically cleansing the bowels is a practice in ancient India, in modern medicine. It is a good practice. There are a number of things you can do to cleanse the bowel for children, for adults. There's something called enema. You can take castor oil with some water, mix it and drink, and initiate bowel flushing. I think this is case to case. I think we can. So for different people, they'll need different quantity.
We'll have to check the child's condition and recommend. We won't be able to give a standard rule for everybody.
If it's for a baby, then you test with a pinch with water. If it's for an adult, maybe a teaspoon. And when to take will also vary depending on the age and all that.
Next question. Yes, please.
So you were speaking about emotions and food,
Correct.
right? So I'm a person, I have GERD. So I have...
You have, sorry?
GERD. GERD. Yeah, so I
Okay.
have that acidity reflex and gas. So if I don't give food timely to my stomach, I feel my acidity levels rising and I feel very uncomfortable. So what do we do how do people with GERD connect with emotions and balance their food?
See, how long have you been having this condition?
So I've been having this for nearly 5 to 6 years, but now I'm pretty much okay with regulating my food intake and avoiding certain ingredients. I'm almost fine, but still if I don't give timely intake, I do feel disturbance. So
Okay.
how can we do that?
Yeah, whatever we've recommended is a very general thing for all the human body. When it comes to a condition which has been there for you more than a month itself, we would like to examine you personally and then recommend a proper medication. We follow acupuncture, which is a superficial... okay, so with that we'll be able to correct this condition with ease. It's nothing very critical at all. It can be reversed.
No, this acid reflex, and then if you delay your meal, then acids accumulate in your stomach are things that we don't really agree with. If you see, all religions have fasting. For Ramzan, the Muslims fast. Pradosham, the Hindus fast. So when you fast, you don't eat for a whole day. The amount of acids that get accumulated, can you imagine? But nothing happens. So it's all, there are a lot of myths surrounding Sapadama Vita, acids collect ayudum, and all that. So one of the, for adults, like these are all for kids recommendation. To boost your immunity, one of the best things that you can do is fast, take periodic fasts. So our intermittent fasting world over is very famous. Not because you eat for limited time, because you give that break for a long time. So that is fasting. And we've been doing fasting for ages in our cultural practices.
Sure. See, again, that is one of the way was found by somebody for someone. So blindly following that 16-hour fast will not give result for everybody. But fasting by itself is a great thing. So it's highly recommended. But again, it differs from people
You
to
have to honor your hunger.
Yeah.
See, fasting also is not something that you can do consistently for as a lifestyle choice. So at 8 or 9, your stomach and spleen wake up and ask for food. But if you're doing intermittent, I'll only eat at 10 o'clock, I'll wait it out, is something that will cause acid secretion. If you're going to do it for the long term, you'll see results in the first few weeks or first month or two, there will be weight loss. Then you'll hit a roadblock and nothing will happen. So everything should have a balance.
It's people specific. For a child to feel hungry, from the time they wake up, it's going to take at least an hour or two. So, yeah, the thing is, 99% of the children are put in the bus 30 minutes from the time they wake up. So, we have to work on a culture where they are put to bed like really early, and we as a parent also should get to bed early. So, they start rising early, and they'll have solid 3 hours. So, if they have 3 hours, they will do their morning activities at ease, and the hunger will kick in, and they will actually have a wholesome meal. It is definitely not okay, but forcing...
No, if the child is hungry, the child will take food.
Yeah.
Now, the child is not hungry.
That's because we are asking them to do something in 30 minutes, which they are made to do in 3 hours. So that's where, I mean, partially parents are also responsible for this. We have to wake up.
No, we have a system in which we force the children to eat when the children are not hungry. Industrialization is also like that. People who go for jobs that are in shifts, no? Like at 12 o'clock, there is a break. Even in school, at 12 o'clock, everybody has a break. We don't know if all the children are hungry. But then they have to eat in that half an hour. So these are all things that we have to work with. In your case, what I would suggest is if the child is not hungry, don't force the child to eat, but pack a snack. Maybe when the child gets down in the school from the bus, maybe they can eat something before class. Otherwise, they'll probably... Yes, so if you follow the rhythm, then hunger kicks in. But if they resist, then it's not a good idea to force.
See, they call it circadian rhythm. Basically, you rise with the sun and you get to bed with the sun. So if you follow this pattern, your cycle gets regulated. But in the modern life, it's difficult. But we can try to work on it as much as possible and get to bed early. Sorry? See, milk again is a very controversial subject. That's what most of the research and study says. So it's again a personal choice. But when patients come to my clinic and I treat them, the one condition I tell them is don't have milk when they're going through a situation. They heal faster. When I say no milk during the healing time, they heal faster. Any condition for them. It could be stomach, it could be heart, it could be liver, kidney, lungs, eye problem, anything. And especially cold and fever, I tell them no milk at all and they heal faster. Yeah, so milk, I stop.
Okay, milk actually, what milk we used to have 30 years ago is not the milk that is available now. There are a lot of additives now. So, like if you see grapes also, there is a seedless variety and then there are seed grapes. Now, so what kind of milk it's come to. 30 years ago, you didn't think any milk you bought, it was milk. But this adulteration and all is a bigger concern than the product itself. We don't recommend any vaccine.
No, not at all. Not at all. We don't need it.
Not recommended.
Not recommended at all. We don't recommend it. Definitely not.
See, a vaccine to come into existence has to go through at least 3 to 5 years of trial in a controlled group. So when they try it on a control group for about 3 to 5 years, check its efficacy and check its side effects, then it's released onto the public. But that's not what happened in that case. It was tested to the whole population. So we're seeing results.
But people who have taken vaccine or who've been on a medication, you don't have to worry about it. There are beautiful systems available in nature healing to remove all those toxins that has gone into our system, so we don't have to worry about it. Nature has given us beautiful methods to, heal ourselves from those conditions as well. So we're not here to threaten people. We're just showing you the path. It totally differs from a body to body. Some do well with 6 hours, some need 8 hours. So it's a personal thing. You need to watch your body. As a parent, you will know how many hours a child needs. But child ideally can sleep up to 9 to 10 hours.
See, how many hours they sleep is not important, Karthik. What is important is when they get up, are they energized? Do they feel refreshed? Do they feel ready for the day? That is one indication for adults or children to find out if they've had sufficient amount of sleep. And if you give the body sleep, like let's say 3 in the morning you sleep and get up at 12 in the noon, that is not sleep. That time the liver is not doing its toxic elimination. Instead, if you sleep at 6 in the evening and wake up at 3 in the morning, that is healthy. So you follow the sun. When the sun sets, you stop your activity, go to bed. And when the sun rises, so when you do that, your body's clock, like Krishna said, works beautifully.
Digestion does not happen very well at night, usually after sunset. So if you feel hungry after sunset, the best food to have is fruits. But you should have a considerable quantity. Last night I tried having fruits because I was not hungry, but I woke up at 4 a.m. hungrier. So it happens. I ate cooked food. I made a paratha and had at 4 a.m.
Now, ideally, I would eat a fruit.
Yeah, but it's morning, so I took it for granted.
Okay, we have some questions here. I'll read
Shankar.
out the questions.
Okay, yeah, we have it here. Okay.
Okay, so one person is asking, if at least one time a day my body asks for rice. If I don't eat rice, I feel I lack something.
You'll take it? There is no reason to avoid rice. You can definitely have rice. You need carbohydrates. So the myth that you don't eat rice, you'll put on weight or anything is really wrong. You can definitely enjoy your rice. In fact, all 3 meals if you enjoy it.
Okay, like for your cars and bikes to run, what do you need? Petrol, diesel. Now for your body to function, that petrol and diesel is carbs. So how can we say carbs are bad?
No, the myth could be wheat is healthier is a myth. So for those of you who are listening, the carbohydrates, what you find in the place where you live is really good for you. Now if you're living in Punjab, wheat is the healthiest diet for you. But if you're living in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, rice is the healthiest diet. Now if you ask me, should I not eat wheat? Yes, you can eat wheat, but rice will be a really healthier option for you because wheat is going to increase the heat in your body. But you don't need to increase the heat in the body because as it is, you're living in a place where the heat is more. So it's absolutely all right to eat rice. It's not going to harm you in any ways.
Okay, if we're not hungry but there is craving for us to...
In the morning and eats less of rice in the morning.
She takes very little amount of rice and she takes vegetables and all this, very, very little amount of rice.
We were all hunter-gatherers before few thousands of years. We survived on eating fruits and roots. We never needed vaccination. We never needed medication. So what your child is doing is innate nature of a human. which is beautiful. Be glad your child is eating fruits for breakfast. We really recommend that option.
She's not gaining weight. Is it okay?
That's totally all right because
She's 4 years old and she's only 11 kgs.
Okay, so you have to see there are some parameters to find out if that is ideal. If your child is able to do all her work, if her energy levels are good, if she does not fall sick very often, then what she needs, she is giving her body. So all these are parameters.
is she
so if-
energetic? Oh, she's a fine child. She's doing a great job.
So there's no ideal weight. The body mass index that we have, and say 22 is ideal, 25 is overweight, all that is frowned upon in alternate medicine. There is no norm.
All those friends and relatives, the moment they see your child, the question they ask, please don't listen to it.
And
Okay,
for
I'll
a
take a
sun
question.
bath, is it okay to take it in the evening?
Mornings are the best time, but if you can't manage, evening sun is also fine. We don't need heat, we need the light. Mornings,
Timing?
20 minutes to 30 minutes of exposure to sunlight is really good for you.
No, after 5 or the timing of...
Evening sun is not very healing, but it's not bad either. It's all right. So 20 to 30 minutes is sufficient, not more than that. Every day is nice, spending some time. You can
No,
also
but-
do a bit of gardening. Oil bath is recommended once a week is sufficient. Once a week is sufficient. No
So
more
when
than
you
once.
do your oil bath, if you expose yourself to sunlight, the amount of benefit you get from the oil bath is exponentially more than if you don't expose yourself to sunlight. So when you say oil bath, it is accompanied by exposing yourself to early morning light. This is something that we have done in the past. We've just given up the practice with shampoos and conditioners and all that.
Sorry? 20 minutes of exposure to sun, and you can let the oil stay in your body for a maximum of 2 to 2.5 hours. That's absolutely fine. Up to 3 hours is also fine.
Overnight oiling also, if it works for people, it's good.
It
If
works
does not-
magically for women also. I mean, cycles will get regular for ones who don't have regular cycles, cycles will get regular. It's magical. Gingerly oil and coconut oil is recommended. Every oil has its benefit, but nothing is going to harm you. So you can try with different oil.
Okay, we'll take a few questions from here and wrap up. If you're not hungry but there is a craving for us to eat something, what should we eat? I'm unable to stop craving.
Okay, craving, there are two ways of handling food to mouth concept. When you look at a food and you want to eat, that is craving. When you don't look at the food you want to eat, you're hungry. So if you are sitting in a place where there is a burger poster right outside your office door, you will be tempted. So change your seating. So unless you are hungry, avoid eating. If you still have craving, that implies basically you've had you've had less meal in your previous session. For example, you were really hungry, but you're conscious of overweight or something. So you consciously reduce your intake. Don't ever do that. You can eat your heart's content. How to measure if you've had enough is, burp is a signal of body saying stop. So the moment you burp, you stop, you will not feel hungry for another 2 to 3 hours. But when you stop and you burp, after an hour, you will feel emptiness in your stomach. But that's not hunger. That is emptiness. Empty stomach is healthy for you. So that means stomach has done its job and passed it on to the small intestine. So when the hunger occurs, you can eat. But if you still have craving, fruit is the best option. Raisins are best option. Dry fruits and fresh fruits and nuts.
That's
safe
what
bet.
I was going to say. Make healthier choices. Like if you're craving for sweet, you don't have to eat a scoop of ice cream or a milk sweet. You can instead eat a fruit. If you eat a banana, the body gets the sugar that it needs, and in most cases the craving is suppressed. So when the body asks for some taste, like for example, if you feel like eating molaha bhaji might not be what the body is asking. Body is asking for something that is spicy. So you can make healthier choices. Instead of going for molaha bhaji, the healthier choice can be a clear soup or something. If you drink that, it can take care of that need for spice, and then the craving can come down. How about vaccination for kids? A parent is asking. Vaccination is not necessary if your immunity is strong. When you vaccinate a child, we give whatever infection that the child can likely get in small doses into the blood, and then the immunity wakes up and then creates a record of that virus in the system. And next time when that infection happens, it remembers that that was once in your system, and your immunity fights it. So even if you give a vaccination, the next time your infection happens, it's the immunity that is fighting. If your immune power is good, if your child's immunity is good, the child will fall sick and come out because of the body's immunity. So if you follow all these steps and live a life that is close to nature and then trust the body, I don't think you need a vaccine.
Yeah, please.
Okay, the question we have here is, what are our thoughts on seizure? You call it fits, no? My child, if the child's temperature goes over 100, my child develops fever, and then it could become fits or seizure. What do we do? Okay, see, there are some hard truths. Like a child who's never been given a paracetamol can never develop fits or seizure. This is something that most people will not agree. But what happens is, have you all seen how they have some charts for acupuncture? In acupuncture, if you see a mannequin with acupuncture points, you'll see a lot of lines on the body. Have you seen that? So we call those meridians. So in the meridian, there are different points. There are over 300 points on the body. So for example, if I say heart meridian starts from the tip of my little finger and goes all the way to my armpits. Like this, there are several meridian channels in the body, and then there are points there that we stimulate to regulate energy flow in acupuncture. In acupuncture, there is a wonderful explanation for why seizure happens. So let's say the body's temperature goes up. I was talking about how it becomes 1 or 2. So when the body's temperature goes up, when you give a paracetamol, what the body does is, it externally, like Prasanna was saying, it treats the symptoms. Paracetamol goes in and stimulates sweat production. That's all paracetamol does. So when you sweat, what happens? Your body cools down, and then you say your fever is gone. That is all paracetamol does. So you sweat, your temperature goes down. But what your life force is doing to eliminate, in this case, the phlegm, does not happen. So every time the body increases the body temperature to fight the toxins, what you do every time you give a paracetamol or medication and suppress that, now there are energy channels throughout the body. Like if you, okay, this might be a really bad diagram, but there are energy channels throughout the body like this. So what happens, there will be disruption in energy flow and then accumulation of energy everywhere. So every time the body's temperature goes up, you medicate, you stop, then there is accumulation of energy here and there. Next time the child gets a fever, does the body do good for you or bad for you? Is cold good? Is loose motion good? Is diarrhea good? We establish that all that is good for you. So like that, when your fever comes, there will be old accumulation of energy or stagnation of energy. That energy flows with excess force, and that's what you feel as seizure. So see, if your child has already been medicated, already had paracetamol, the body will try to regulate it. If you don't give paracetamol through an illness, if you get a seizure, once the seizure is over, the child is past the danger. That's all. My child has got fits. Next time I won't let my child get fits. I will give paracetamol when it is 99 itself. So what you are doing is you are enabling the next instance of seizure to happen. So when a seizure happens, like in a heart attack, once the heart attack is happened and you've come out of it alive, the danger is past. Like that, a seizure happens, it's for the good. The body's energy flow is re-established naturally. That's all. Yeah, once the seizure comes and goes, the body is fine on its own. In acupuncture, there are some very important points that you can stimulate when the child has fever or in case the child develops seizure. And
Reduces the temperature, and the temperature will never raise above 100 if you consciously do this every 30 minutes. So when the temperature does not rise, the chance for seizure almost goes nil.
see, I've seen children who had 1 or 2, 1 or 3 for 12 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours straight and not been medicated. Nothing happens. That's why I said, let the fever be in you for 2-3 days and see what happens to your body. If you let the fever sustain in your body, you will understand that nothing will happen.
Any other questions? Yeah, we have one of our participant here to share the experience. So we welcome Mr. Kabir. Okay, Master Kabir. So I should be asking a question, right?
You can press the,
Yeah, wait. Hello.
press the wire.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, Kabir here does not take medication when he falls sick. He'll tell you when he has a fever what he does, what he eats. What do you eat?
I eat very light food. I don't eat all 3 meals. Maybe I fast 2 meals only when I'm sick.
He'll fast, he's saying.
And in the night alone, I might have a light idli or something like very light idli and chutney, and I'll be fine. And then the next day, maybe I'll take some vegetable juices like ABC or a green juice. I mostly take detox juice now.
Okay. Do you get very stressed about falling sick? Okay. What do you do on the days that you're sick?
I take rest. I do whatever activities I like painting, drawing, and sometimes when I'm too sick, I watch TV.
Okay. So how many days has your fever lasted? The longest you've had fever?
Maybe 2 weeks.
And in those 2 weeks, you followed this only. And then the fever became all right?
It became fine. It was fine.
Okay. Thank you, Kabir.
Kabir has taken health to the next notch. He's advising me on becoming a vegan. And he's also telling me why I should become a vegan. Whenever we meet, we have a chat. And he's a vegan. Still a vegan, right?
Not fully, little.
Little, is it? Okay. 70% vegan. Okay, so if there are no other questions, I think we'll end it.
Can we have a parent come and share an experience of how a cold or fever is treated naturally?
We'll pass the mic if you are shy to stand up.
Like somebody who... You can come forward. So Devi here has 2 daughters who are both less than 7.
Yeah, so my elder daughter is 7 years old. So off late I avoid giving lot of medications and all, maybe last 1 year. So whenever she picks up a cold or fever, first thing is she by herself skips her food. I think last month she was ill for 2 days and almost for 2 days she didn't take any food, only liquid diet, water and orange juice. That was the only 2 things she had. At the end of the second day, she by herself told, I'm hungry, and had 1 idli in the night. And the third day she was fine, no fever, but little bit of cold. So that is what I generally do. And thanks to Archana for her tips.
You want to talk about Sia's cough in the night?
Okay, so my younger one has been diagnosed with adenoid problem, and she had severe like running nose continuously post I think 1 year. We tried all kinds of allopathic medicines, and that is when we shifted to natural form. So what we do is we have skipped some things from her diet, like which will trigger her allergies, and then I bring her for treatment to Archana. And the next thing is when she picks up a cold, we don't give her any medication. I let the cold come out. We do a lot of steam and give her a lot of soup and everything. And then the next day, she's fine. The cold, the running nose stops, and then she sleeps better. I think she doesn't pick up that much cough nowadays. Otherwise, it used to become like a phlegm accumulation, and she terribly used to cough at night. So it's kind of okay now.
Okay, every time she went to the school, picked up an infection and came back, she would develop a cough. She will cough all night. And then for the next 2-3 days, it will be sleepless nights for all of them. But now I think with not taking drugs and then doing acupressure and then modifying her diet a little bit, now the instances that she falls sick is becoming lesser and lesser.
Actually, my younger one is much better than the elder one. Because the elder one, I have given a lot of medications when she was small. My younger one recovers faster than the elder one.
Thank you so much. See, blocked nose steam inhalation works. Okay. See, saline drops are okay. Like when I showed you this example, the first time it would have been a thin running nose. With antibiotics and medication, it becomes tougher. So you resort to natural healing, it will start coming out.
Hi, I'm Prinshi, and I'm a mother of 2 sons, and the older one is 3.5 and the younger one is almost 2. I've never given any medication to both the children from when they were born. I've never given any medication, be it the vitamin drops which the doctors recommend when they were born. I've never given anything. Now they're like 3.5 and 2. Anytime they fall sick, they fast. Actually, I don't let them fast. They fast by themselves. I don't take them near the dining table or anywhere. So that has helped them to cure better. And recently, my older one fell sick. Usually, he gets fever for only a day or 2. I think 1 month back, he felt he fell sick for on 3-4 days continuously, and it went up to 103 and 104. And I was little panicking. But then Archana gave me hope, and I didn't opt for the medications, but I was a little scared. But eventually, suddenly it dropped. From 104, it came to 98 in overnight. And not only fever, anything, any skin-related problems or cold, cough, anything, I don't give them any medications. And I think I've
See, one important point I have to say is Prinshi is able to do this because she does not take any drugs when she falls sick, especially when she has fever, cold. She does not take drugs at all. So she knows what is happening to her body. She is able to let it happen in her child.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prinshi.
Okay. Thank you everybody. So I think we're short on time. So if you have any questions, you could probably visit the clinic.
We practice acupuncture in Salem in TMS Eye Hospital. So our numbers are on the flyer. If you have any specific questions, one-on-one advice, you can call us anytime. See, some of the content from today is from these books. These are books in Tamil. This is called Enna Saapadalam, Eppadi Saapadalam. This is by healer E.R.K. Kumar. His school of thought is what we follow. He's based in Coimbatore. So this is a very useful book. You can consider buying it. And then this is some basic FAQs about acupuncture. If you're interested, you can buy this also. We'd like to wind up by thanking Foothills Open Learning Center and Nikita for this wonderful opportunity. I hope we've made a difference. I hope we've made a few of you, or all of you, think. So thank you for this opportunity.